So for that, to be honest, we're using Abtai Lung. So as you can see them just down in here, our little light here. So off the top, this is smoke. This is this one up here, and you can see it's probably leached a little bit more when we looked at it last time. Okay, so that's just smoke colour up there. Next down we've got, because obviously we need to work with the browns, we've got cream brown. Okay, so this is for lightening up the brown. Okay, so that's this one just in here. Because we might need to do a little bit of lightening again, buff. Buff is my go-to colour, like smoke at the top. I use buff all the time, which is the next one down. Then we need to do something for lightening up the greens. So for that, we're going to use yellow. Okay, so this is Luftwaffe yellow, but basically any level yellow will do. Okay, and then last up, we got just down in here something for the hydraulic-y colours underneath, and oil and stuff like that. So faded dark yellow. The great thing about this goes basically from orange right the way through to sort of a red rusty colour when it's going down and stuff like that. So you can actually do some nice things for it. And that is, as I say, our playlist for today. Brush wise, literally, I do like the AK brushes. I think they're really, really nice. Okay, so we've got a nice chiseled end one just in here. Okay, so that's that one. And we got a small one, literally just for putting initial C's into those individual panels. All right, so that's that one like that. Also, we will need is something a little bit more harsh. Okay, so what we've got down in here is a selection of older ones, and as you can see by the end of it, they did start off being something like that, but they yeah, very quickly with me, you know what I'm like with them, and I got various ones at various stages of this, as you can see on the end here. So the great thing about these is that obviously you can use these for blending. All right, so what you want really ideally is a couple of them, purely because some of them will have more thinners on them than others. So this one you can see it's got a little bit of paint now. We use this one sort of dry, but this one here has been used for thinners. This one here is just generally gnarly and all the rest of it. So that's it. So that's our little playlist of characters that we'll be using on this little guy. So starting off with, obviously, you know, you've got two ways of working it. We can start on the bottom, okay, and start to go around and do the panel areas, but really what we want to do first is sort of fade back this green. Okay, so fading back the green is really straightforward. What we're going to do, we're going to take a little bit of yellow, okay, and we're just going to load up the brush with a bit so it's sort of in here. Okay, so what we're talking about when we do this, it's obviously we're using yellow because it's one of the primary colours that make up the green. The yellow is the lighter side of it. So all we're going to do for the minute is just going to pop around, and we're not going to go everywhere with it. We're just going to pop in some little areas, literally like this, okay? Because we want to break it up. We don't want to change it totally because we might as well have just sprayed it in a lighter colour, okay? So we're just going to do these centres down in here. Okay, this little one just over here, and we're just making up some little areas. So start off with your palette so you can just spread it out on the card a little bit more. Okay, and then, you know, down in here we've got some bigger areas, so we do some big ones, but little areas are just going to get little bits of green just to lighten it. But again, don't paint this on because that's sort of defeating the object of what we're trying to do. Okay, so that's it. Last up, we've just got a little bit down the back. Couple of little options just down in there, and that is literally it. All right, then you can come along with your sort of blending brushes we were saying before. Okay, so again we want probably, I think we can probably get away with these. You know, I'm thinking about actually just reverting to a smaller type of brush, but I think we'll be okay. All right, so what we're going to do is we've got this one here, so we're just going to slightly maneuver around with these. Okay, so to start with, you're going to end up with just dots in amongst this, and we're just trying to blend it all around. Okay, so again we'll just start down in here, we'll start there, and when we're doing this we're going into the green, not off to the browny sides and stuff like that. So again we're just going to move these around a little bit, because this is just to break it up and to start it really moving. Okay, so as you can see, these coming to life now. So again, we're just going to come into the midsection here, and to be honest, the reason we got a lot in here is we can do this wing root area all at the same time. Okay, so it's the same type of thing. Okay, so once we've got this somewhat in, we can start to physically blend around with it. Okay, so what we're going to do is just going to fade this off. Okay, so you're starting to do this, and really it's a little bit like, best way to describe it is when you're doing pre-shading. When you put that top colour on, you want to do it till it just about vanishes. Okay, and this is all we do, and we're just going to keep going round and round, and we're just buffing at it. And you can see it's not enough to make a difference on any of the brown, but it's starting to lighten up in here. Okay, so this is what we do. We're just going around, and it's changed that colour and it's lightened it, and it's gone right the way through. Okay, then we're going to do the same over down in here with this one. Just to make it all work. Once we're in here, let's just do these rears. Okay, we're just sort of buffing. And again, the great thing on here, it's got texture, so you can see it's already starting to work very, very well because there's texture on this. Okay, right, next up what we're going to do is switch brushes. So we just got another clean one, and this one at some point has had enamel thinners on it. Not now, as you can see it's bone dry, but what we can start to do is just start to rub, and we can sort to blend. And this is what we often talk about, or you hear me talking about when I'm talking about makeup. And again, what you're really trying to do is just so it disappears. It's sort of fading in now, and it's all going. Remember, this is going to be a nice subtle fade. You don't want anything too in your face. Okay, but actually I'm coming quite happy with how that one is now. So we're going to move over to this area. And because this has had thinners on it at some point, this is really going to maneuver this around, and it's going to wake it up. Okay. So we're using this one as our blending tool. If you wanted to, you can use cotton buds, and you can come in and you can lightly go, and if you very lightly rub on them, you can blend them. I know some people like to use sponges as well. Makeup sponges are absolutely great for this. Okay, we're just going over this bit here. Okay, and the great thing about using cotton buds is you can get right into various areas. So hopefully you can see now how this is, if we go on the side here, starting to lighten this up compared to this side. You know, it's very difficult on these as you're trying to do a down on here, but you can see now how this is lightened and this is quite dark, and this is how we're going to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all of this side. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to grab our brush here, and normally obviously we would go off and do the other side, so I'm just going to clean this off as much as I can. The thing is, I don't want to put thinners near this, because if I put thinners near it, it will wake up the oils and it will make it far too easy to brush around. But you can see here doing dry brushing how much oils give. They are the gift that keeps giving. Dry brushing, they're fantastic, which is something we're going to do with this in a minute anyway. Alright, so now we're going to pick up a little bit of the buff. So same thing, did before, down in here, a little bit of a palette. Okay, now this is very, I would say, a little bit too light. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mix a bit of the other one into it. And again, this is all about paletting, as in you get a shade or a colour you want. Okay, we're just going to make a little bit of a mishmash. Okay, and then same thing again, we're just going to come in. I'm just going to do these centres, a little bit more down in here. And again, this is one of these areas where, you know, you just pop in bits and pieces as you feel. A bit probably too strong there. What we're going to do is we'll do it at the front here, but leave the back just to show. Okay, so that's on, and then literally we're just going to come back in again with our sort of blending brush, exactly the same as we did before. Okay, a little bit of green on that still from last time with the yellow. Okay, and we're just going to start to push and manoeuvre this all around. So again, just start to working all around. We've got way too much on there. Okay, so a little bit too much on there. So what we're going to do, just going to grab our cotton bud, and we're going to just use our cotton bud for blending purposes here. Because again, this is, to be honest with you, not normal scale for me. I don't normally, as you know, do this scale. So we're just going in now. And we're just going to pop around just to take some of this off before we properly blend it. Okay, so again, that's going to be way too much down in that area. Okay, that's more like it. Right, then we can come in and we can literally start to blend. And it doesn't matter if you blend over the green. Okay, so we're just going in. Exactly the same way as we did the other one. Don't worry, we're going to come in with something a little bit more of this in a minute. Okay, same thing, so that's that one done. And we're just going to come in with our proper blendy one here. And we're going to fade this down and in. Okay, same thing. I'm just going to come back with a cotton bud, just tidy in and sharpen up. And you can see how the wash is still sitting very nicely in these panel lines because it's literally unaffected. Okay, I'm just going to come back with this one. All we do now is blend right over absolutely everything. Right over that decal. So now you can see how we're fading everything nicely back in. Okay, so now we're going to do some post shading with our nice little brush here. So we're taking a tiny bit of the smoke, just loading up very, very lightly, tiniest edge. Okay, and then all we're going to do is literally just going to work it down in these little areas, right the way over decals and all of these things. Okay, we've got control surfaces there. Down in here, this, to be honest, is one giant one, so that'll just get a lot. Around the gun area. Again, right the way over the decal. Those two areas. We can put this one just here. Again, a little bit down there. So that's those on. And then we're going to come back in with our blending brush and he throws it up. Okay, now you could wait a little while for this to dry, but to be honest with you, it's going quite well today, so we're just going to very lightly blend these all together. Okay, so you're going with the direction of the panel. And we just blend down. Same thing, if it's looking all a little bit strong, we can adjust with that in a minute, but for the moment, it's just about blending. And to be honest, it's very, very therapeutic doing this. This is that type of thing where you can have a nice bit of music on, you know, and you can just relax and enjoy. Okay, now this big one that we've done here, we've probably overcooked it a little bit, but it's good for showing you guys, because obviously you can just fade this back and just keep rubbing at it. Last thing is a scrub right the way over everything, just to blend everything together. So that's it, so we're just going over everything now, and it just helps fade everything together and makes it sort of come to life. Okay, and that is it. And then you look at the other side. And that's what we've done. So we've gone from taking stark, strong, pretty much, you know, mediocre, and now we've turned it into something faded down, quite worn looking and stuff, just like that. And again, you could literally just come back and you just need to blend this a little bit more. We could put a flat coat right over this, whatever it needs. You can use your finger, which is a great one for going over decals and just to blend and manoeuvring stuff round and all of this good stuff. Okay, I'm really am a fan of actually getting your hands involved. But there we go, that shows before and after with your oils. And again, the great thing with this is it's totally safe. If you don't like it, enamel thinners, brush, wipe it away and off you go. But actually, I must admit, I'm actually very, very happy with that. Okay, so again, a little bit, as you can hopefully see down here, it's a little bit lighter. So the yellow lightens the green. Okay, by using our little mix we did, I think it'll be a little bit too light the other way, but you could always just do a panel if you wanted to, just pop in the other one. But as you can see, that smoky post shaded look as well just gives it a little bit more sort of weathering right the way around it. But hopefully you agree, that's looking very, very nice. So what I'm going to do is carry on and do the rest of it. Exactly the same techniques, apart from on the bottom, obviously we won't be doing any changing of the colour at all. We're just going to do a little bit of post work, as I said, by putting in that one line down it and going through the motions a bit like that. But hopefully you agree, it's looking pretty good. Okay, and that gets us to here. So okay, both sides all done. Very nicely done. And we've done the underside exactly the same way. Around, we've done the side. Oh, I've just missed two areas. Look at that. See, show you on camera, and I've even done it myself. Okay, so just again in, buff and blend. Look at that. Okay, so that's it now. In and warm. And again, the great thing is with this, you don't like it, you can literally just come in and get it all off and start again if you wanted to. Again, you get in there with your finger, give it a rub round. Okay, so that's worn down now. Underside looking really nice. Same thing, to be honest, I just went around with the black and then rubbed it with my finger. Again, I'd love to say it's like, you know, expertly done and everything else, but honestly, it's just on there. And I've just literally just been around and done this, and we just blended, which is great because, again, it's very artistic. It's good to get your hands involved with these things, and that takes care of it, literally like that. But hopefully, you like that? I do. I must admit, I really like the effect. And to be honest with you, this is one of those things when you're looking at it on camera, I'm hoping it's looking as nice as it is to me, because to me, I'm really, really happy. One thing we spoke about before, but we haven't done it yet, is this decal with the overshoot of it here. Best thing to do is just come along with a sanding sponge and just sand one way, then we sand the other, and there it is. And that way you can take off the excess little ribbon right the way over it, and then if you wanted to, you can then just put a little bit more setting solutions or whatever you want on there just to take care of it. Okay, so from our point of view, we'll just pop in there with a little bit of red, a few little bits just to take care. But there we go, that is now all done. So last up really is just under the underside with the orange. So this is that orange colour that we've got here. So we just take our clean brush. It's got yellow on because obviously I did the green last. So this is the orange, which is the faded yellow. And again, this is what I use for hydraulic-y things, okay? Because the thing is with this, when you put it down, and this is actually dried out quite a lot, but when you put this on, you can say to yourself, right, okay, so hurricanes tend to have it, back of the radiator, coming down, all the rest of it. You can just put in a little bit like here, okay? And we're just going to lightly brush. All right, then you're just going to come in, and we'll come in with And it's got a little bit of black on it, which actually will probably work in our favour. We've got here, and then what we're going to do is just going to pull it. And as you can see, it will start to go, and it will fade back, goes from orange to yellow, so it gives you that nice look to it. So we're just going to come in here, so you can start off, and as you brush it back, you see, to start with, it looks very orangey, and now it's looking that sort of funny colour that they actually get. Okay, but again, if you pick up a little bit of the orange, you can start it more orangey, and as it fades, goes down the line to the rear, it just changes out the colour. And that's it. Now the great thing with this as well, you can actually come along with a cotton bud and just lightly buff it back in, just to take away perhaps a little bit. So I'm putting a little bit up on the back of the radiator. So we're just going to go around all these areas, and then again you can just knock it back a little bit, put it down, knock it off, put it down, knock it off. So that's in. Same with the guns with the cordite. So literally take tiny little bit of the black, and we're just going to make a couple of little 4 guns along here, just like this. Okay, and then we're just coming in direction of airflow, and we're going to pull back like that, and then it's just a case of buffing it too. So it's upwards and downwards, so it's down, lift off, down, lift off. Okay, and then you can actually just come in and you just take them back until you're happy to that level. But again, if you wanted more of an overall effect, perhaps the entire area, we put on quite a bit, just like this. Let's assume it's been doing a lot. Grab, drag it back. Okay, and again, starts off just like the other one, very big, very heavy. We just switch to another one for blending. And then we just go back like this. And then we can come in with a cotton bud just to sharpen it back up. So we can just say, right, okay, so we're just going to take that off that area, that off that area, and again, using the cotton bud, lightly just pulling it back to give you a Gunsmoke type cordite look. And again, you can make it as dark or as light as you want, whichever way you want to do it. And you can even put it on with one of these as well. So you can just come along, put it in like this, and then we're just going to screw him back. Okay, so it's nice, big, thick, horrible. Okay, then we're just going to come in with the blind side. Okay, and we'll just come in with that brush again. And again, we'll fade. So we're just going to rub right over, just to take it back. Okay, so again, a little bit too strong. In with the cotton bud, and we're just going to sharpen him up, and we're just going to run the cotton bud over the top. Just like that. Okay, and that's literally it. And again, you can do little, if you want to, you can say, oh, look, we'll put a little bit of black in here. And then again, we can just streak down, put little streaky marks in. If you wanted to do like marks off of actuators, stuff like that, exhausts, all of those areas exactly the same way. And that literally is about it. So that's our Hurricane, looking very grimy underneath, as we can see here. So we just do the tops same way. So we just grab a little bit of this. Okay, over both. Again, not so much on the tops of the wings because it's on brown. And then we'll just drag it back, just so it's got that nice peppered look. And there we go, something like that. Okay. And that is how we weather up our Hurricane.